Good afternoon, everybody. Hello, welcome along to your afternoon rabble as I just quickly finished off my ham sandwich. My missus always does that. She waits until about 2 minutes before I start and then hands me a sandwich. There's a joke in there somewhere, isn't there? So hello, everybody. Welcome along, like I say, to the afternoon rabble here on the Rangers Rabble Network, Rangers Rabble Podcast, Talk Sport Fan Network. I am joined today by Bryan. Bry Dog, how are you?
Not bad, thanks. Not bad. Funny morning, having to go to the job centre with my brother because of this Universal Credit and ESA changeover. So yeah, that was an interesting morning.
Is your head fried?
Honestly, it's almost as though they're trying their best to make it even more harder to my brother's situation is not going to change. He's not going to get better with a pill, and I'm just like, why are you asking all these questions? You know the answers. You know he's sitting right there. I mean, it just seems as though they're making things an awful lot harder for no apparent reason. So yeah, my head's fried.
Well, we could turn this into a politics show.
Oh, don't do that.
I think we would probably get into a little bit of trouble, so let's stay away from the politics, shall we?
Yes.
Folks, please do give the show a like. Make sure that you subscribe. We're obviously going to be talking all things Rangers Panathinaikos, as we should be. Bryan, obviously, look, I'm on way. I just dropped my pen and I'm too sore to go and get it. I'm on way with David Edgar tonight at 7 o'clock.
Yes.
Obviously, I'll get a gauge of what David thought of the game, obviously from a press point of view. But your thoughts last night, mate, on what was... If you take the context of the performance and maybe some of the mistakes that were made, some of the good stuff, great result.
Absolutely, it was a great result. I mean, I said, I think, on your afternoon yesterday, I think I put in the comments that I think we'd win comfortably and would... Not comfortably, but I think we'd win and we'd win by a couple of goals, and that was the case. First half was obviously a bit... it was a hard watch. I think... Obviously, with the lack of play, as a team, I think they were struggling to, string some passes together. I think the cohesion wasn't quite there. Although
it was never going to be O'Brien. Let's be honest.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't. But I mean, there were signs. There were certainly signs last night that you could see. Right, okay, I can see what they're trying. I can see what they're trying to do. I think Danilo was a little bit isolated last night. He didn't get much service either, so that was disappointing. And I think the lineup. I think I got one. Well, I said it would be apart from Asgard that started against Dunfermline. I was convinced that would be the lineup that we started against Dunfermline, which it was. The only change was that Curtis came in for Asgard. So, and Curtis did himself no harm last night. Marvelous goal. Really good performance from the young lad. His first start in Europe. So he'll be high as a kite. He'll be buzzing, which is great to see. Rothwell was really good, and Butland as well. So yeah, there was some really good performances all over the pitch. I think the second half is maybe the team that the manager or the head coach, would prefer to start with week in, week out. I think that would be more of a starting 11 that he would prefer. But obviously with Egeman and Dessers not being up to quite full match fitness, not being able to complete 90 minutes, that the team had to start in another way. So, no, encouraging signs, a good win, and on to Greece.
Yes, well, on to Middlesbrough first, Brian.
Well, yes. Friendlies do with it.
We all know how important the Middlesbrough game is, Brian.
Oh, yeah. It's just, yeah. I mean, as I say, you know what my feelings are in friendlies. I'd rather do without them, but there we go.
Well, actually, I genuinely, right, just on that, but just before I do, Cammy's not a new member, right? But I think he's done this so that he can show me in a WWE ref outfit in his profile picture. He is one of our sponsors, Cammy, so I have to bring that up. But I tell you, Brian, I don't know if you noticed, I don't know if you listened to the Morning Rabble.
No, I didn't. I was at the job centre, unfortunately, so no.
Oh, so you were. See the abuse I get from the channel members. It is unbelievable. What have I ever done to them? You know?
Well,
Some of
you
the
do
abuse.
you do get called the biggest hypochondriac going, don't you?
Listen. They've got a point. Right.
You could sneeze and it'll be the most deadliest disease ever, and it's just a common
Listen,
cold.
hold on a wee second. No one listens to it, Martin. Is that how I had 4 calls this morning, Lyndon, and I had over 40 people watching at 10 in the morning on a members show? You're just jealous because nobody's gifted you a membership, Lyndon. That's what Lyndon's problem is. And it's not abuse, it's character building. There we go. Yes. Martin, wait a minute, where did I see that? Martin, we love you, big man. Legend. Oh, well, I didn't see that comment, but there you go. I'm famous, apparently.
Geez.
Infamous, more like Bryan.
Infamous, yes. Infamous.
Do you know,
yes.
One of the weirdest things that's happened to me ever, right? And I don't know if you want to call this fame, right? Because if this is fame, I don't want it. Was at a League Cup game at Hampden about 2 years ago. And somebody ran past me and went, Martin, get yourself a haircut. that's the strangest thing that's ever happened to me.
Oh, jeez.
But yes, look, I don't know if you want to call it brave. I don't know if that's the right word, right? But picking Dowell and Curtis from Russell Martin Bryan, whether you agree with it, whether you disagree with it, whether you think it was the right thing, whether you think it was the wrong thing, I'll tell you something right now, that showed balls.
Yeah, because Dowell's, let's be quite honest, Dowell is not a right winger. That is not his position. I'll die in that hill. There's no way he's a right winger. He's more a central, a 10 at best. He's maybe an 8, but he's certainly not a right winger. So I think certainly, as everybody was saying in our group chat this morning, I think a right winger is the next on the list of purchases for the manager. I think that is a very apparent because, as somebody else was saying in the comments, Cortez was nowhere last night, and that's a bit of a worry if you can't get a game ahead of Dowell at right wing. So there's that aspect. Yeah, it was brave. I think it was maybe enforced as well, as I said before. I think a lot of the fitness with some of the guys, just being behind fitness wise. So I think some of the selections last night were enforced. I don't think if he was given his first 11 with everybody fit, that's what he would go with. So yeah, it was a brave move, but I think it was an enforced one, to be quite honest. So yeah, and I think Aaron's, once he moved from the left back role to the right back role, seemed to be more comfortable. I think that was pretty apparent as well. So I know obviously he started the move for the second goal, which was a joy to behold. Let's be quite honest, that was from our deep, like right next to our corner flag, right back position. And Gassama, Sheffield, I must admit, I did have a peek at the Wednesday week's tweets yesterday, and yeah, they weren't amused at what he was doing because they knew what he was capable of.
They knew what he's capable of. Was there a tiny part of you, Bryan, that got a little bit nervous when he went for the knee slide and messed it up?
Yes, I thought, I hate people.
Bryan, there was a tiny part of me that went, that's 6 months out.
I thought, that's ACL. He's done his ACL. He's celebrating a goal.
Knee ligament's gone.
Oh, jeez, don't do that. But I mean, he got up and it was fine. But no, what a way to endear yourself to the fans, eh? Literally minutes on the pitch, and you score a goal like that. I mean, again, along with Curtis and now Gassama, the two of them will be absolutely high as kites. So, I mean, just get them on the wings now and just let them run loose because their confidence will be sky high.
Yeah, please just no more knee slides.
Yes.
That's all I'm asking. I mean, Curtis's knee slide was epic. But Gassama, please, for the love of God, no more knee slides. Do you know what I loved about him? But it was dead endearing in his post match, and it's something that we take for granted. By the way, it's obviously English isn't his first language; it's French, right? And he's talking away, and then he apologised for speaking French, and I'm like that, mate. Come on, it's your first language. Don't worry about it. He's like that, and then he's like, "Oh, Ibrox, massive, yeah, massive." Just us. But you know, just going off on a wee tangent. Russell Martin said, "I'm only bringing players here who want to be here."
Yes.
And that performance last night was a team of players that wanted to be there for me, Brian. Yep, first half, not great. Panathinaikos had chances, probably should have scored, right? Let's be honest, they probably should have scored. Jack Butland doing his job. A kind of redemption night, if you like, for Jack Butland. But in that second half, even before they went down to 10 men, and then after they went down to 10 men, Brian, that was a team of players that want to be here.
Certainly was. As you say, Butland, the microscope was certainly, Butland was certainly under the microscope last night, because I think there was a lot of people waiting for him to make any form of mistake or any blunder, and he would have got it from all angles. So no, he had two marvelous saves yesterday, which kept us, right in the game, and he did himself no harm. So yeah, Butland, as you say, that was a really good performance from him, and hopefully now that's him getting back to what we know he can do, and the goalkeeper that we hoped we'd signed, because the goalkeeper towards the end of last season, that was never a Jack Butland goalkeeping, how he was performing. So I'm kind of hoping now that he's, again, I think the team's performances and what was in front of him, it was constantly changing all the time. I don't think that was doing him any favours. I think that a goalkeeper needs a steady back four, for the majority of the season. And I think goalkeepers struggle when, they're changing the centre halves all the time, and, they're not getting that relationship. So I think if Djiga, Suter and Butland can sort of get something going, as in constantly playing together, get relationships up and running, I think they'll get an understanding of, like, when there's a pass back on, they'll pass it a certain way. And when the goalkeeper's going to come for a ball, a good, the goalie will shout certain things. So, it's all about those guys building up relationships. But as you said, wasn't perfect last night, but nobody was expecting perfection. We were just wanting to get a win to take over to Greece, and that's what we got. So it was good.
When you think about it, we've never beaten Panathinaikos, ever. And that is a team, that Rangers team last night is at the very, 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 very early stages of its evolution. Very, very early stages, Brian. It was never going to be a complete performance. And you can look at that performance last night and go, is there things that can be worked on? Damn right
Absolutely.
There is. There's a lot to be worked on in that team. We are nowhere near the finished article. And through grit and determination, we take a 2-0 lead over to Greece. Now, I mean, the game's nowhere near done, right? They will be a much harder proposition over in Greece. But we'll have a week to work on that, Brian. We'll have a game as well, which is why I think the Middlesbrough game is so important.
Now I think
the more games you can get in, the more you can try and get that team working cohesively. And we need that. That Middlesbrough game now is so important for me, Brian.
Yes, I mean, I think everybody was thinking that the Middlesbrough, was just a sideshow, just in there for no apparent reason. But I think now it'll be very, very important. It'll certainly give guys like Dessers and Igaman a chance to up their sort of minutes in the legs. I mean, if you can get a good hour out of them on Saturday, then that you can take that into next week and give them, possibly start them. Only, again, giving them an hour, at least an hour's worth out of Dessers and Egaman might serve us better than the starting lineup last night. So yeah, it's now it is important. As I say, what my feelings are on friendlies. I don't pay much attention to them purely because I believe they're just there for fitness and nothing else. So it'll be another game for us to get a chance to get relationships up, get a bit of cohesion in the team, as I said before, and just get a bit of understanding of a pattern of play for the players to get another game under the belt to go over to Greece, because as you just said, Greece is never an easy place to go. So it'll be the Middlesbrough game will be another good test for us, and Middlesbrough taking a full allocation, 8,000 fans, so that'll be a good atmosphere for the players as well, a full house. So getting more game time in full houses, because I would very much imagine that the Panathinaikos game away will be extremely intimidating. So that'll stand in a good stead also.
Good experience as well for the new players.
Yes.
I was flicking through TikTok today, right? Well, I was uploading to TikTok, and I seen this post. It was this woman, and she's like that. Well, it was great having my husband for the summer. It was brilliant. He wanted to spend time with me. He wanted to spend time with the kids. And then she flicks the camera around and she goes, and now they're back, right? And it was the Rangers game on the telly. She's like that. That's it. That's me. I don't see my husband now until May, right? So I sent it to my missus, and she just sent me a message back going, "Yep, that's us. That's it. That's it. Until May." It's just, Brian, and look, I'll dig into the game with David more in depth tonight.
Mm-hmm.
And there's loads of things to work on, but by God, just having Rangers back for a competitive game, you don't realise how, even though at the end of last season we're all screaming and shouting for, I want the season done, I want this finished, this is torture. You don't realise how much you miss it.
No, you don't. And it's just the camaraderie with, getting down to the game, seeing people you sit next to at the stadium, all that sort of, as you say, camaraderie, and just having a good laugh on the day. You know what I mean? It's going down in the bus and having a laugh with your football pals, and just having a right giggle, and just everybody's there for the same reason. They want Rangers to win, and that's all that matters. So, well, thanks very much, Charles. It's very nice of you.
Well, what Charles said.
Charles is, yeah. Thank you very much.
At least he calls you by your name.
Yes.
And can I just say, by the way, Trev, Martin drinking water. What the fuck? Well, I'm a footballer now. So Footballer. So I need to look after myself, Trev. I'm going to the gym on Thursday night. Doing a bit of cardio. Trying to get myself fit. And then I've got training next Tuesday. So yeah, I'm keeping myself fit. I did have spicy chicken pizza last night.
That's not a good idea.
I did have spicy chicken pizza. I also had a tea cake and a slice of carrot cake and birthday cake. So I'm not keeping myself that fit.
That is not what I would think is the nutrition that your football team are looking for, Martin. That's terrible.
Well, I think you'll find it is.
That's not what they're after.
I think you'll find it is.
What was your halftime snack yesterday?
Nothing. I had chicken pasta before I went.
Chicken pasta. Oh, jeez.
I had chicken pasta.
A bit of protein and a bit of carbohydrate.
I've heard Messi eats the same as well, Charles.
Ronaldo certainly has spicy chicken pizza.
Yes. And all the food groups, exactly. I'm just getting I'm gradually weaning myself off, chocolate and crisps. So carrot cake, tea cakes, spicy chicken pizza, hey, you know what I mean? Great point here for Mark, by the way. Fair play to Russell Martin for sticking with Curtis after half-time. The easy decision would have been to hook him. I think Clement takes him off at half-time. I think maybe Barry Ferguson takes him off at half-time. Yeah. I think maybe Gio takes him off at half-time. I'm liking what I'm seeing for Russell Martin, Brian, and I don't want to get too ahead of myself. I'm not going to sit here and go, oh, we're going to win everything. Look at this. It's so good. I just like that he's come into the football club. He's seen all the backlash. There's no way he hasn't seen it, right? There's no way he hasn't seen all the backlash. There's no way he hasn't heard BBC Scotland, Talk Sport, all that sort of stuff. He knows what the majority of the fans thought of him coming in the door, and he's went into that game. He started Curtis and Dowell, and again, he knows what the fans think of Kieran Dowell, right? He's not a stupid guy. He knows exactly what the fans think. He started them. It's got to half-time. Panathinaikos have been the better team, and he's left the young boy on, and he's got his just rewards.
Absolutely. And it was maybe part of the plan in the sense that I think head coach Russell Martin obviously realised that the subs that were going to come on was going to maybe benefit young Curtis as well, because obviously Egerman, Desser's coming on, so that that sort of guys is maybe the front line that Curtis is maybe going to be involved in a little bit more. So Curtis played just. As I said, Danilo just felt a little bit isolated yesterday. I felt sorry for him a little bit because he had one. I think he had a half chance where he hit a shot and it hit off the defender and went out for a corner. So I think he just had one or two chances and that was it. So, but Egerman made a big difference, I think, because he drops deep, comes and gets it, and So I think. He started off as I say, Aarons went to Egerman and then Egerman to Diamande and then out to Gassman for the second goal. So, Egerman is hopefully he's going to now see that maybe hanging around for another year will benefit him. Maybe if he can get himself if Rangers can get into the Champions League, all of a sudden our players are on a different microscope. There's different teams looking at them thinking,
different transfer values.
So all of a sudden, everything changes. So maybe I'm kind of hoping that a lot of the players are now looking at that thinking, if I can do well here, get into the Champions League, I've got a chance of getting a serious move here. Let's be honest, we've got to accept that that's where we are as a club. We're not Real Madrid's, Barcelona's, and Man City's and Chelsea's and all that. We've got to accept where we are in the sense that we're there's bigger there's bigger fish than us in the pond. We're small fry compared to some of the giants, like as I say that I've just mentioned. So it's there's got to be an aim and a passion for these players to get to the Champions League and forward their career. So, and as Rangers have said before, if any player wants to leave, that's fine, but they've got to meet the valuation. So it's all about getting to the Champions League, and hopefully we're one step closer to that last night.
Well, as you can see, the sun's now coming through the blinds, right? I don't know if it's because I need is it vitamin D you get for the sun, or is it vitamin C? Vitamin D for the sun, isn't it? Maybe I just need my vitamin D. Maybe that's what it is.
It's not a nuclear blast that just went off and it's frying your left side of your face, no?
No. Obviously, the sun knows that I was playing football and that I'm a little bit sore, so it's just trying to give me my vitamin D. That's exactly what it's trying to do. And Jim Sloan jumping in the slagging. Jordy, any cake is part of Martin's 5 a day. How did you know? That's shocking behaviour. Right, I don't want to be negative, Bryan, at all, because
nothing be negative
I'm fed up. I'm fed up of 3 years of pure horrible negativity, right? But Squirrel Chaser, which just reminds me, what film was that? Oh, I can't remember what film it was. It had the talking dogs. It was an animated one, and every time they said squirrel, the dogs all went like that. Squirrel. No.
I don't remember. No.
Well, you're not used to me.
There was Over the Hedge. Over the Hedge, was it? No?
I don't know what it was called, but they just went squirrel, and the dogs were like that. What? Squirrel? It was hilarious. I loved it. Up. It was Up. There we go. That's a great film, by the way. I actually cried at that film. I'm not man enough to admit it. Not. You know what I mean? I cried at the end of the film. I can't think of the right metaphor.
You're man enough to admit that you cried.
I'm man enough to admit it. See, I done what's called a Bryan there.
No, you didn't.
Where I got my metaphors wrong. But yeah, I cried at that film. But Squirrel Chaser shows me just how far down the line Cortez is. I mean, Bryan, he's got Finlay Curtis, he's got Gassama. Unless he can play on the right, if he's exclusive to that left-hand side, look, it's one game. It's early days. Is Cortez going to struggle to get in this team, Bryan?
I mean, it's difficult. I mean, I'm hoping Middlesbrough may be a time for him to get a start. It's an ideal time.
You'd like to think he would start, wouldn't you?
You would like to think Saturday he'll start against Middlesbrough, because if he can't start against Middlesbrough in a friendly, then he really is. He really is struggling then,
by Rami as well to get in front of.
Yeah. So I mean, it's going to be extremely difficult for Cortez to muscle his way into this team. although he was on the bench last night, wasn't he?
Yes.
Yeah, so he's not miles out. It's not like he wasn't named in the squad, like in the bench at least. So he obviously can't be that far away. But I think obviously with the time that he's been out, it's maybe as I think it was one of you guys said earlier in one of the afternoon rabbles previous, that we've at least now got time to give players a chance to get back. We're not wanting to rush them back, because I think a lot of players in the past have rushed back, and I think they're maybe just being a little bit cagey with Cortez. They're not wanting to rush him back far too quick. So it's maybe a little bit of caution from the manager, in the sense that he's not wanting to, throw him in the deep end straight away and get him minutes straight away. So I'd like to think now that obviously with the time that he's been out, that the manager's just erring on the side of caution and not starting him sort of too quickly.
Could absolutely be. We've got a question from Cassie. I hope it's not Cassie from Clyde. Clyde 1. Because I'm pretty sure she's not a Rangers supporter. I have a question. Do you think we see Raskin drop out for Asgard? Now, no, right, is the answer to that. But it's a good question in terms of who does drop out for Asgard, Bryan. A guy, by the way, who we've yet to see. We don't know how good he is.
I know, because
and I'll emphasise on top of that question, where does Baylor Rice fit in all this?
I mean, I think there was a lot after the game yesterday. I think there was a lot of people excited about the sort of Rothwell, Diamandi, and Raskin sort of trio. I think there was a lot of people liking that. But it's a squad. I mean, let's be honest. The season is a squad. It's going to be very rare for somebody to play virtually every game now. You know what I mean? Okay, you had the likes of Goldson and Tav that in the past have virtually played every game and never missed. But nowadays, well, certainly moving forward as a squad, you would like to think that the manager will be a little bit more savvy, in the sense that he's not just going to play somebody all the time, because every player needs a rest at some point. So there is going to be a lot of rotation. But I would say, I mean, obviously starting with Rothwell, Raskin, and Diamandi, that's not going to be far off the first choice midfield. Where Asgard fits into that is an extremely good question. Does he go? Does he play on the right sometimes? So it's going to be interesting. Is there a chance that the formation can change slightly? Because I think the manager has obviously said that he likes his teams to adapt mid-game. So, it just depends where the manager sees this, and obviously the amount of games, if we're playing sort of Tuesday, Saturday, or Wednesday, Saturday, or Thursday, Sunday, whatever it's going to be, it's going to be two games a week. So it's going to be a squad game, and everybody's going to need to take their turn on the bench at some point. So just to keep everybody fresh, because the last thing you want to do is run anybody into the ground and then lose them to a needless injury.
Are we going to be one of these teams now, Bryan, that doesn't have a starting 11? And I always hate that. I hate that, right? When people say, "Oh, but you've got a squad, you don't have a starting 11," because then my question would be, right, well, who plays against Celtic then? Is that a starting 11 or is that a squad rotation? Who plays in the Champions League? Is that a starting 11? Is that a squad rotation? But there is some positions on the park where you look at and you go, like, who is? If you were to name a 1 to 11, and don't, because we'll be here all day, right? But if you were to name the 1 to 11 starting 11 for Rangers, A, it's far too early to tell because we've only had one competitive game. But B, you've got players like Asgard, Rothwell, Dio, Raskin, Rice. So that's just in the midfield, right? And then you're up front. You've got Danilo, Dessers, Stigerman's still here. So are we one of these teams now that doesn't have, as Cammy says, we need a definitive starting 11, but are we now a team that doesn't have that?
I would like us to at least have a definitive back five. That's one thing I think is non-negotiable. I think certainly in the midfield and the attacking areas, you can be flexible, but I'm kind of with Cammy in some respects that you need a definitive 11. But at the same time, I just think nowadays, with the amount of games that we're having, I don't think there's going to be that sort of scenario now. I think it's going to be who we're playing and how we're going to play. If it's an away European tie, if it's at home to somebody in the SPL, if it's a cup game away, things will change and players will come in for certain games. And I just think that's the way football's going. There'll be some, as you say, there'll be some positions where that'll be, that'll be a nailed-on position for somebody. But I think the most of it, certainly midfield and the forward line, will be very much up for grabs in the sense of how the style of play is going to be against that opponent.
I have to ask, because I don't actually know. I mean, if it was given against us, I'd probably be raging. But at the same time, I can see why the second yellow was given. Soft for you, Bryan?
I think the referee forgot that he'd booked him previous. I think he was just going to give him a yellow, and then he realised who it was. And once he had brought his yellow out of his pocket, he was kind of like, "Uh-oh, I've got to send him off now." So I think the referee was generally just going to book him, but he was already booked. So second yellow. So it was maybe a little bit soft, but it's nice for us to get a little bit of the rub of the green for a change, because we got done over against Kyiv last year, with Jeffrey's red card. So no, it's nice to see a little bit of us getting something for a change. Soft. If it was softer or not, the referee deemed it a yellow. Unfortunately, that player had already been previously booked, so that was a red. So
and by the way, he should have been sent off for that horrific dive anyway.
Exactly.
That was a horrendous dive.
It was very poor, very, very poor. So no, I don't think the players got much complaints. I think he had a couple of niggles before that as well. So I think he was treading a tightrope before that. So no, I don't think the young lad had too many complaints, to be honest. So yeah, I just think the referee made a mistake. He was going to book him, and then realised he was on a yellow already, and he was committed by that point, so he had to send him off.
Yeah, like you say, it is sometimes good to get the rub of the green.
Of course.
Or as we see on this channel, the rub of the blue.
Yes.
The rub of the blue. Let's see. Martin, what's this? Martin, you could actually be on the treadmill while broadcasting to us. Multitasking would improve your time management, freeing up some family time. What on earth? Somebody will be saying to me, "Nick, get one of these standing desks, Martin." Absolutely not. So, Bryan, I have to ask then, it's only one game, not getting carried away. But are you excited for the future under Russell Martin after one game?
I think the second half performance is something the fans can obviously get a bit excited about now. The gas man coming on and scoring his goal, Curtis unleashing the shot he had, Egerman, having a hand in the goal, the lead up to the goal. I just think, there's a lot to be positive about, as you said, not to get carried away. But it's nice. I think that's the best thing that can happen to a new signing, is introducing, getting an introduction like he did and scoring a goal like he did, because that'll just give him so much confidence. Fans, if you listen to my interview with the Sheffield Wednesday fan, they were gutted he was leaving. They were genuinely gutted, because they were expecting, for him to go on and get sold between 10 and 15 million pounds. So it just shows you the sort of player that we have in our hands, and I think we're going to get excited by him. I think pace on the wings is something we have lacked for a long, long time. So it's nice to see that. Finlay Curtis, great to see a young lad coming through the system and getting into the first team. I think, it's a massive show of faith on the manager that he's given a European starting berth. So that's brilliant as well. And as Cassie's saying there, your Suter and Jigger, they made mistakes last night, but they've barely played with each other, so that's going to take time just to get that relationship, what they're going to how they're going to operate in game management. So no, there's lots to be positive about, but not to get carried away. The tie is certainly not over, but we wanted at least a 2-goal lead, and we got it. So and as Paul's saying, we wanted 3 because that would have been a bit more comfortable. But I think if we were offered 2 at the start, we would have taken it. So,
I don't know anybody who would have knocked back a 2-0 win last night.
No chance. I wouldn't have. I would have grabbed that with everything.
Considering we've never ever beaten them,
It's quite amazing that, isn't it?
And look, football's football. On another night, it could have been a different result, but that's football. It wasn't. It was a 2-0 win, Brian, and we go over there, still well in the tie, and with every possibility of going through to face what looks like Servette.
It does. I mean, Servette. That was a surprise score yesterday. So, I mean, we go over to Greece. See if we score first out in Greece. That'll deflate them something rotten, and we're good away from home normally. So I would sort of just say, enjoy. We're good away from home, and if we score the first goal in Greece, I wouldn't say the tie's over, but I'll tell you what, it'll take the wind right out of their sails. They'll get deflated. So, and then it'll just be about game management from then. So it's as I said before, it's not over. 2-0 was a fantastic result considering what we've been through as a squad and the transfers and stuff like that. So no, there's a lot to be positive about. And as you said, the Middlesbrough game is going to be important on Saturday, and then we head into next week. So there's a lot to be positive about. There's going to be guys getting extra minutes in their legs on Saturday against Middlesbrough. So yep, all to look forward to, and we're just delighted that the competitive season started, aren't we?
Yes, we are. Right, just saying I had £30 on 3-0.
Oh no!
But I'm still more than happy with 2-0. That's a brave bet, isn't it? 3-0.
I hate that when it happens.
But it's not that. We go 2-0 up, they're down to 10 men, and Richard's thinking, I'm going to be cashing out shortly. That's it, game over.
Nothing worse.
I seen a comment for Ian Thompson, and I can't find it now, but it was along there it's there. Curtis has been impressive. Love his strength. Do you think we could see him play as a 9? No, I don't. I mean, he scored goals for fun at academy level, right? But I see him more as that winger cutting in, Brian. That's where I see him playing in this team.
It certainly seems to be his more settled position, doesn't it? I mean, you've seen far more of him than I ever have. I've only seen him the odd time when he's played. He played up at Aberdeen and he's played at Ibrox maybe. But he definitely seems to be one of those lads that seems to like cutting in, as you say. He likes to get the ball, run at a fullback, and not scared to go either outside him or inside him. So it's just let the lad enjoy his football and just let him enjoy his moment, because that was a huge moment for him last night. That takes a lot of pressure off the young lad as well, because let's be honest, it was some goal. I mean, even to have the audacity to shoot from there took some kahunas. So fair play to the young lad. He's seen an opportunity and he's taken it. So it's great to see. Great to see.
Was there not like a 0.001% of you that was raging, but looking at that, going, he's doing what I wanted to do when I was 18. That's what I wanted to do.
He's doing absolutely. If everybody must be looking at him thinking, crikey, I wish I was doing that. Everybody would love to do what he's doing. You know what I mean? Everybody would absolutely give anything to do that. So yeah,
Brian, I would have gave anything. See if that was the only thing I ever done for Rangers, right? And I managed to get picked to 18, and that was the only goal I ever scored, and that was the only game I ever played.
Great.
I'd hold on to that for the rest of my life.
Absolutely.
So I would absolutely.
And I certainly would say it's not jealousy. It's just you would love that opportunity, wouldn't you? You would love just to have he's a really nice young lad. I spoke to Gazabak and his dad up at Pataudry coming out the ground, and his dad was made up. That his loon started and had a great game. So no, he's a really nice, and even like the interview yesterday, they said that his mum had to tell him to get to sleep because he couldn't sleep, and just he seems like a really nice young lad, and he's grounded, so that's nice to hear as well. So he's only 18. We've just got to be canny with him, and we've got to remember he's just an 18-year-old lad who's made his first European appearance, and he's done really well. So we've just got to hope that those performances continue and he goes on from strength to strength.
Yeah, and as Heather's saying, good research. They've only a +9 goal difference last league campaign, so they don't score loads. So we should go through barring a disaster. Well, they have got like 55 new players, I think, Panathinaikos. But yeah, I mean, anything that we can hold on to, Heather. Absolutely anything we can hold on to. Right, folks, that is us for today. I'm back tonight with David at 7. The Rabble Heart and Hand crossover podcast. So I just want to say before I go, thank you so much for all the support, folks. If you could hit a like on YouTube, it would really help us out. The more likes we get, the more YouTube thinks this is actually a good program and it shares it out throughout YouTube. So please do that. Make sure you follow us across all socials. All the links are in the description. Bryan, my friend, thank you all.
Thank you very much. Thank you, much appreciated. Nice to see Rangers getting off to a winning start, and there's a bit of positivity.
Yes. It's too easy to be negative. Let's be positive. I was going to go into an old joke there, but Martin, don't do jokes. You can't do them. Right, folks, I'll see you all tonight at 7. Thank you so much for tuning in. And yeah, we'll speak very, very soon.